A very good evening, students. Welcome back to add-on course on structured query language in online mode. In our previous session, we discussed different commands, different SQL commands like update, alter, and where class, isn't it? So, in where class, how we can put different conditions that also we have seen. Okay, the different operators associated with the where class that also we have seen. Okay, the update command, the alter command, and the delete truncate commands also we discussed. The difference between delete and truncate, the difference between drop and truncate, everything we discussed in detail. So believe me, students, whatever commands we are discussing, whatever knowledge you are getting by executing these commands, it is definitely it is going to help you at some point where you are going to learn the advanced tools. Hopefully you understood. So quickly in today's session we will see some of the commands which can be used inside the select command, SQL's select command, or we can also call them as simple keywords. Okay, there are few keywords that we can use along with the select command inside your SQL, structured query language. So mostly we focus on select command only in today's session. Select command, in how many different ways we can frame to work on SQL database, that we are going to see in today's session. Okay, so quickly, the select command we have already discussed about it. It is mostly used to retrieve the data from the database, isn't it? Retrieval is nothing but viewing or selecting the data from the database. So some of the basic terminology you need to understand with respect to database. Okay, retrieval in the sense taking, selecting, viewing, likewise meaning you will get. If you see the dictionary for this term retrieval is nothing but taking. Okay, opening, selecting, viewing, this kind of meaning it will give. Okay, the most commonly used SQL command, it is one of the most commonly used SQL command. And yeah, this SQL query is used, the SQL query is used to select the database or to retrieve the database or to retrieve a particular type of data from the database. Okay, in simple words, we can say that the select statement is used to query or retrieve data from a table inside the database, isn't it? Inside database, we will be having different tables. A database is nothing but, we said, it is a collection of relations. It's a collection of tables. There are other things which can be put inside your database, but for now, as we have not discussed any of those other things, that is the reason why I'm not saying that a database is a collection of all these things. So for now we understood only the tables concept, that is the reason why I'm saying your database is a collection of different tables. Okay, so from that tables, in order to view the data or in order to retrieve the data, in order to select the specified data, okay, or in order to retrieve the data which you need, we are using select query, we are using this select command. Hopefully you understood. And the syntax for framing this select query we have already seen, select command we have already seen. Select followed by the columns, whatever columns you want to retrieve. If you want to retrieve all the columns, simply we put star over there. So over here you can see how we are framing our select query. Select followed by the column names. Okay, select followed by column names. If you are retrieving like one or two columns, simply name over here. Like let us say we have an employee table, and if you are retrieving only employee name and employee ID from the employee table, so how we can write EMPID or EID, isn't it? EID. We have taken the column name as EID over there. So how we write that one? Yeah, we write like this, EID. Okay. then and comma ename. So I just want to show that whatever columns you are writing over here, how we are separating them by simply making use of this separator, comma separator. We are separating these things. We are separating the columns. And if you want to retrieve all the columns, whatever columns you have inside your table, inside your relation, if you want to retrieve all the columns, simply put star over here. Simply put star over here. So select star from table name employee. So like that you can retrieve all the columns present inside your table. And this where clause, it is where clause, it is used to make the row selection. Okay, where followed by the condition. When you have put this condition over here, what will happen? Your select query or your select command will retrieve the desired columns okay. Your select query will retrieve all the rows. First it will retrieve all the rows, and from that rows it will select the rows which satisfies this condition, or we can say the select query will retrieve all the fields, all the I mean not all, these two fields or these two columns from the table. Okay, these two columns and all the fields in that column, all the fields or all the records, we can say all the rows, we can say it will retrieve these two column, all the rows from the table where this particular condition will match. In that way it will do the selection job. Your select query will do the select command will do the selection job. Hopefully you understood this one. So here if you see this example, because we have done many examples on this select query, select command in our previous sessions. So select star from emp where ename is equals to John. So it will retrieve all star. When you kept star over there, it will retrieve all the fields, all the columns, sorry, it will retrieve all the columns from your relation, from your table, and it will what we call, it will filter and display only the rows which are having ename as John. First it will retrieve all the rows, and from that rows it will select only the rows which are having John as employee name. Okay, in that way it will select and it will filter the rows. Remember this one. So in this select command, what different keywords or what different sub commands you can put, that we will see in our next slides. So over here, select unique. Select unique, it is an old syntax basically. It is an old syntax which was used in Oracle. But later what ANSI, there is a different versions of your SQL, structured query language, like Oracle version and ANSI version. Okay, you have Oracle version of SQL as well as ANSI version of SQL. So this select unique is a command which was there in traditional or old Oracle, we can say. It is an old syntax which was used in Oracle. Okay, then later ANSI people, what they have done, they redefined this standard, and they have taken a different command in order to do the same job. Whatever select unique will do, to do that same job, they have introduced a different keyword or a different command, that is distinct command. So what they have introduced? They have introduced distinct. So in place of unique, they have introduced distinct. So later Oracle also accepted this distinct. Later Oracle also added this distinct into their definitions, and they have not removed the unique as well. So now we have two. As we are using Oracle version of SQL, we can take the help. I mean, we can check these two, distinct as well as unique. These two will work in our Oracle version of structured query language. So what this actually does, what this distinct or unique will do means, they will basically select the distinct elements from the table. If you have repetition, if you have duplication in a particular column, they will simply remove the duplication and they will select the unique values. Let us say employee names. If you have more employee names as John, or if you have more employee names or something Robert, then what it will do? It will select only one for multiple duplications. Okay, whatever duplications you have, it will simply remove those. Okay, so when we practice, you will understand. So these two commands, they are the same. There is no difference between using distinct and using unique. There is no difference between using distinct and using unique, because as I said, unique was the older syntax, old syntax. Unique was old syntax which was there in Oracle definition, but later ANSI people, they have redefined that same logic, or they have redefined that same function or feature with a different keyword, and they named it as distinct. Okay, then after ANSI's redefinition, Oracle people also accepted that one, and this distinct will also work in Oracle, but they have not removed the older definition. So in Oracle, both the definitions will work. Distinct will also work, unique will also work. And for what purpose we are using this unique, in the sense to select the unique values or distinct values from a particular column. Okay, from a particular column. So quickly to understand, yeah, this is the syntax. Okay, this is the syntax to use your unique or distinct. So how we can use that one? Okay, first you have to start with select unique and specify the column name. Which column name you want uniquely? Which column name you want uniquely, that you specify. Okay, select unique column name from table name. From table name, from whatever table you want to retrieve those columns, or from whatever tables you want to retrieve those rows, simply specify that table name. And you can also specify the where clause. Okay, different conditions also you can include, because it is a regular select query, so you can ultimately you can introduce where clause. Okay, so this is the complete syntax. So now let us suppose I want to select the employee names from the employee table. So how I can do that one? Employee names from the employee table. So I will go to my SQL. I will simply select star from tab. How many tables? Yeah, it is not connected, so I have to connect. The username, same thing, ISL CSE001, and then it is asking me to enter the password. I'm entering that password over here. So now it got connected. So now you type select star from. Okay, we used to type capitals, right? So select star from tab. Yeah, we have employee table. So select star from EMP. So these columns I have over here: EID, ENAME, ESalary, address, door number, street. For those three, I mean, when we have done the practice of this alter table command, there I have added this address, door number, and street, isn't it? In our last session, I have added these things, and we have not added any values to them. Okay, don't do any modifications. Let it be like this, because these columns, I mean, we are going to use in our future classes. So over here, see here, when we are seeing the employee name column, okay, employee name column, in that Ahmed is repeated twice, isn't it? Ahmed is repeated twice, and John is repeated twice, and also Robert, I think. Robert, it is only once. I think only two things they repeated. Okay, two things they got repeated, Ahmed and John. So if I select all the like this, if I type my select query, select ename from EMP, what it will do? It will list the complete column. Okay, without any duplicate removal, without any duplicate, I mean, redundancy removal, it will give the complete list of names. Okay, even if you have repetition, it will do the same. It will do the repetition, as you can see over here. Ename column we are displaying, and it is displaying Ahmed twice and John twice. So if you want to remove that duplication, then you have to go for unique or distinct. Both are same, unique or distinct. So first I will try with unique, and then we will then I will also show you the distinct. Okay, so first what I am doing, select, type the keyword, that is unique, UNIQUE, unique. Select unique ename. Okay, select unique ename from table name employee. Select unique column name from table name. Okay, So select unique ename from employee. So now what it will do, it will remove those duplications. It will simply removes those duplications. Like Ahmad, it got repeated twice, and John, it is also repeated twice. So it will remove those two, and it will show as one entry only. Okay, instead of dual entry or double entry, it will show only one entry. Not only dual, I mean, if you have n number of repetitions, it will select only one from that n number of repetitions. So here you can see we are getting Robert, then Ahmad, Venkat, Albert, Michael, Raju, then Vinod and John. Only once. All names you are getting only once. No repetition, no redundancy. So like this, in order to avoid the duplication inside your data, we use this unique keyword along with the select command. So another one, select distinct ename from EMP. So simple query, same like your unique, you can also replace that unique with distinct, and you can see it will give the same output. It will also give the same output. Previously also we got selected 8 rows from 10 rows, and here also we got selected 8 rows from 10 rows. So in this way you can remember this unique and distinct commands or keywords inside your select query, inside your select command. Okay, select statement. It is very important to understand the difference. Okay, how the regular output will be and how it gets differ when you use these keywords, unique and distinct. Hopefully you understood. So that is the only purpose of using this unique or distinct keywords, simply to get the unique values, simply to get the avoid the redundancy. Okay, in a table there may be a chance to exist duplicate values, and sometimes we want to retrieve only unique values. In such scenarios, SQL select distinct statement is used, and this SQL select distinct is exactly similar to your SQL select unique command. SQL select unique and SQL select distinct, both are same, there is no difference. Okay, so then we have another important command in SQL, which is SQL count command. So what it will do, it will simply count the entries of your output. Count the entries of your output. So whatever query, whatever SQL query you are writing, how many records satisfies that particular query. How many records satisfies that particular query. It will not print. It will not print the complete list over there. Rather, it will simply count. Okay, let us say if I am writing select star from EMP where employee name is John. Select star from EMP where employee name is John. So here how many records I am selecting? Yeah, select star in the sense all fields I am selecting, all columns I am selecting, but your count will not count the columns. It will count the rows. Okay, how many number of rows your SQL query has selected, it will simply count that one and it will print that count on the output screen. It will simply count the query, count the rows which satisfies the query, and print that count on the output screen. So SQL count function, we also call it as SQL count function, is used to return the number of rows in a query. So when we are saying number of rows in a query, it means the number of rows which satisfies the query, which satisfies the query. The count function is used with SQL select statement, and it is very useful to count the number of rows in a table having enormous amount of data. If you have enormous amount of data and you don't want to read all the data, or if you don't want to count all that number of rows, so simply what you can do, you can simply write some query, and whatever rows are satisfying that query, you will get the count of that rows if you use this count command. So consider a scenario. Here I have taken a simple example. Consider a scenario where you have the complete population list. The complete population list. And in that, how many people are eligible for voting? The persons whose age is greater than 18, they are eligible for voting. We know that one. It is a condition. So you simply write that condition. Select star from voters. I mean, voters is the table name. Where you so, or you can say select star from census. Census is nothing but the population record, isn't it? So I have. Let us assume that I have created a table with name census. So select star from census where age age is greater than 18. So then what you will get? You will get the voters, isn't it? The people, the persons who are eligible for voting from the census, from the population record, from the population table, you are getting the voters list. So nobody will want the complete list because it will be very huge, very enormous, isn't it? It will be very huge. The list will be very huge. Nobody wants to see that complete list. What a person will insist, or what intended people will insist is they want only the count, the perfect count. Isn't it? They want the count. So simply what you can do, you simply apply the select count command. Instead of select star, you apply the select count command on a particular column and write your condition over there. Write your condition over there. So select star from census where, or not star, select count of some particular field. Select count of some particular field from EMP where age is greater than so and so 18 years. Or if you are retrieving the data from table census, then select star from, or select count of star from census where EAG is, or age is greater than 18 years. So it will give simply the count. So to understand it very easy, I mean perfectly, we have to go for the syntax and example. So over here you can see select count of columns. So what it will do, it will simply count the values. It will simply count the records, number of records which satisfies the upcoming condition. So from table name you have to specify where so and so condition you have to specify. So here what I am doing is I am counting the employee names whose name is John. What I am doing, I am simply counting the employee names from employee table whose name is John. So what I am getting now, how I have to write the query now? Select count of EID. Any particular column you can count, or you simply put star also over there. So very soon we will understand. So select count of EID from employee where E name is John. So if you write this same inside your SQL. So first I will retrieve the complete data just to have the understanding. Select star from EMP, employee table. So it is giving me the complete data as you can see over here. EID 10 records I have, employee names I have, then e-salaries I have. So what I want now, I just want to count the records. Okay, I just want to count the records where employee name is John. I mean, with John name, how many employees I have? How many employees I have? So how can I write that one? I don't want the, details. I don't want the records. So see here. If you type the command like this, select star from EMP where E name equals to, between single quotations, put the employee name. So what it will do, it will list all the details. Okay, it will list all the details of that particular John employee. So it got repeated twice, so it is giving full details. I don't want the full details. I just want the count. How many employees are having employee name as John? That I want. I just want the count. So how I can? So select like this, you can count of any particular column you can write. So here I am writing EID. Select count of EID from EMP where E name equals to John. Put the semicolon at the end. So see how wonderfully I'm writing this query. I mean, how wonderfully you are getting the meaning from it. When you're writing the query itself gives the meaning, because it is more like English statement we are writing over there to the database. So your database is understanding that one, and it is giving the response accordingly. See what I am saying? Select the rows where employee name is John and count them. Or select EIDs. We can say select EIDs from employee name, from employee table where E name is John. And how many IDs you will get in this particular case? See here, if I don't put this one, if I don't put the count on this one, what you will get? Okay, what you will get? You will get two IDs, 1002 and 1010. Two IDs you are getting. So what we are doing with the help of count, we are simply counting those IDs. So select, okay, count of EID. So what it will do, whatever IDs you got in the previous case, it is simply, yeah, here you got EIDs, two EIDs. So what this count will do, it will count 1, 2, like that it will count. So EID from EMP where where ename equals to, in between brackets you put the name, sorry, in between single quotations you put the name John, close the quotations, put the semicolon at the end and hit the enter key. See here it is showing count of EID as 2, count of EID as 2, and don't put this condition over here, simply count all the EIDs from the table. So here select EID from EMP, that's it, I'm writing without any condition. So what it will do, it will give the complete list of EIDs. How many? 10 fields, I mean 10 rows we got. So now what I am doing, I am counting it, select count of count of EID from employee. It will give EID as 10 now because it is counting 10 rows now. As you can see here, it is not listing the complete list. It is not listing the complete EIDs. Simply it is counting them. So for this purpose, we use the count command. Okay, for this purpose, we use the count command, and there are some different examples we have for this count command, like 2 I guess, or 3 we have. Okay, so select count command column, already we practiced this one without the where class, already we practiced this one. Select count of ename from employee. So what it will do, I have shown you, isn't it? Select ename from employee. Let us say if you are writing like this, so it will list all the employee names, 10 rows. So select count of, to count the e-names, count of e-name from employee. So like this, 10 you got. Okay, so this count command here we have, see, it will return the total number of employee names of employee table, but null fields will not be counted. It will not count the null fields. Whatever null fields you have inside your table or inside a particular column, it will not count that one. So to show that one, select star from EMP. I'm just checking. I mean, see here in the eSalary, Robert 1003 keyword, 1003 ID, Robert name, we don't have the salary detail. It is a null value over here. It is a null value over here. So if you count the eSalary, if you count eSalary from this employee table, what you will get? You will get the count as 9 because we don't have here, we don't have a particular entry over here. And this null value, your count function will not count. This null value, your count function will not count. This thing you have to remember. That is the reason why I kept this thing inside a note over here. You can see this one. Inside note, I kept this one. But null fields will not be counted using this count. Using this count, null fields will not be counted. That to check, that to understand, simply go and type that eSalary you count. So if I select eSal from EMP, what you are getting, you just see. It is showing that null field as well. Even though it is null, it is showing. Select eSal, it is showing. But your count command, it will not count that one. Just check that one. Your count command will not count that one. So select count of eSal from employee. See here, it is giving the count as 9 records only. It is not counting the null values. The empty fields, it is not counting. Okay, the empty cells or empty fields, it is not counting. It is only counting the filled values, the proper values, entries, whatever you have, it is counting that only. It is not counting the empty values. See here in our table, select star from EMP. We have certain fields like street field, we have completely empty. So just apply the count function on this particular street field and you see what output you will get. So ultimately it has to show the 0, isn't it? So if I am typing select street from EMP, what it will give? It is selecting 10 rows but no entries, as you can see. All entries are nulls over here. It is not giving, it is not having any entries, but even though it is showing like 10 rows selected, but when you count those rows, select count of street, select count of street, okay, from EMP. Like this, when you do, hit the enter key, Okay, there is some mistake. Okay, here count we have to type. Okay, and T, and we hit the enter key. See, it is showing 0 as count. It is showing 0 as street count because we don't have any entries over here. We don't have any entries over here in the street column. So that is the reason why the count value we got 0. Hopefully you understood. So the next thing what we have here is, yes, counting star. So in order to count, I mean, maybe some columns when you are going for counting, I mean, if you, let us assume if you want to count all the records present inside the table. So to depend on which particular field, there is a confusion because some fields may have empty null values. Some field may have null values. So if a particular value is not there, it will count -1, isn't it? It will count -1. You will not get the proper record. So to get the complete number of records present inside your table without depending on that null values, without depending on null values, if you want to get the complete records from the table, simply type this query, select count of star. So instead of giving a particular column name, we are saying count all the fields. Okay, select count star from emp. So it will give 10 without depending on these empty things, without depending on these empty things. I mean, if you have a confusion which particular column is having full values, if you're not sure and if you want to count all the records from the table, then simply use this query, select count star from employee. It will simply count all the records present inside your table, and it will print the count on the output screen. Okay, so distinct, so counting distinct values from a column. Okay, not depending on redundancy, not depending on repetition. Okay, not depending on duplicate values. If you want unique values to be counted, then you have to go for distinct keyword along with this count command. See how interesting this particular query is. Okay, so distinct names I am counting from the employee table. Distinct employee names I am counting. No duplication, no redundancy. So if you type a query like this, select ename from employee, it will give all the employee names, including duplications, including duplicate names. It is giving all the names. So if I say select ename, okay, sorry, select distinct, distinct ename, or you can count ename directly. You count the ename. See, when I'm writing the queries, when I'm giving a particular example to you, all alternatives I'm giving. So that is the reason why I'm keep on telling you to write all these things in your paper. At least the commands you write, and if possible write the output also, because some less output only we are getting. I mean, because you will feel difficulty in writing the output. That is the reason why I have not done more record entries into your table. I have done less record entries into your table, and I'm showing all my, I mean, we are practicing all our commands on those minimal records only. Okay, so select ename from employee. What it is doing, it is selecting all the records including duplicate names. It is selecting. So if I apply the count on this ename, then how many it will show from employee. Okay, select count of ename from employee table. So how many it will show? It will show 10 records. Count as 10 it will show. It is including the duplicates. It is including the duplicates. Now select count of, sorry, select distinct of ename, distinct ename from emp, employee. So now what it will do, it will select the distinct names. I mean, two names we got repeated. So our count now, I mean, how many rows I will get? I will get 8 rows now. As you can see, 8 rows selected, and it has removed the duplications like John and Ahmad. It got repeated, so it is simply removed those two. It is removed those two, and it is showing the other stuff over here. It is showing the other, I mean, remaining distinct names over here. Distinct means without any repetition. Okay, without any repetition. Now simply apply the count on it. To get the count, simply apply the count on this distinct ename. Select, okay, count of distinct ename from employee. like this. So now what it will do, first it will select the distinct names, distinct employee names like this, and then it will count that one. So how many rows will satisfy, I mean how many entries will satisfy this particular condition? 8 entries are satisfying this particular condition. So when you count those rows, you will get the count as 8 only. Simply hit the enter key. See, you got the count as 8. You got the count as 8. So this is something about the count command. This is something about the count command with select. Okay, with select, counting all the employee names. Okay, but when you are applying count on a single field, what will on a single column, what will happen if there are any null values in that particular column? Your count will not count those null values. It will simply ignore those null values. Okay, that is the problem. So to avoid that one, simply instead of taking a particular column inside your count function, what we are doing, we are keeping star. So star will take all the column entries. Star will take all the column entries and it will simply count all those records, and it will display the perfect count, we can say, on the output screen. So count star. So count with column name, then count star, and finally the distinct column name. Count with distinct column name. If you don't want to count the repeated values, and if you want the distinct count, distinct entry count, then simply go with count of distinct column name. You can even use unique over there, because unique will also work just like your distinct. Okay, simply try that one. Same command I'm writing, select count of unique 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 ename from emp. See how wonderfully we are getting the output. We are getting only 8 now. See all these commands, the logics, the statements, how we are framing, everything you have to remember, everything you have to practice. Just so many people, they are asking, sir, how to remember these things? How repeated practice, frame the, I mean, take the question. I mean, if I want to select a particular record, I mean, if I want to do the select operation like this, if I want to do this sort of things on the database, how I can? Frame your own questions and frame your own queries for that one to the database and see how the database is responding. Nothing will be lost, isn't it? If you're doing mistake, means nothing will be lost. Simply you have rollback and commit command, unless you are using DDL commands. Okay, even if you spoil something, what will happen? You can create your another user, another table, and do the entries. Nothing will be lost, isn't it? Okay, what will happen? You will learn something. Every mistake, whatever you are doing, it is like an experience to you, isn't it? So that is the reason why don't simply wait, or don't simply waste your time. Do rigorous practice to become expert in these particular things. And as I said many times, these particular things, they are the topmost priority things right now in the market. Okay, topmost priority these kind of things are having. Data manipulation tools, just go and see the ads, just go and search like trending technologies in the market. You will get all these things. Okay, you will get all these things over there. And believe me, those who are showing the interest in this particular thing, we are planning to get this certification from a reputed Oracle itself. We are planning to get a certification from Oracle, and that certification, when you go to the career stuff, I mean when you go to an organization and if you show that at so and so level I have done this kind of course or this kind of training I have taken, definitely it will be a plus point to you. See, all will come with BTech degree or all will come with BE degree. Nowadays nobody is looking at your academics, what additional things you have done. Apart from the universities, what assessments you are having in your hand, these things they are checking. Okay, if you have anything, any certification programs, means definitely it is a positive sign, believe me. Okay, so simply don't spoil your career waiting for something to happen, because the complete career, because it is your career, so it is in your hand. How you are going to mold it, how you are going to frame it, the complete thing is in your hand only. Just do the practice, because many different things we are doing over here, and these things nobody else is doing. Not in JNTU, not in EU, OU, nobody else is doing at this particular stage. Of course, they are doing, but at a lateral stage. latter stage, like when when the students are approaching in third year, final year, at that stage they are doing. But if you do the practice from this stage, believe me, you will become like an expert in these technologies. Okay, so and whatever advanced technologies you are going to learn, you can play with them like anything, because writing queries in advanced technological tools, like as I said, in your MongoDB or in your Tableau or and all, it is way easier than writing queries over here. Okay, these queries are very difficult when compared to those queries, and if you understand these difficult queries, those things will become very easy for you. Because as the technology is advancing, when the technology is advancing, the way we interact with the technology will become easier. That thing you know, isn't it? As the technology is getting advanced, the way we interact with the technology will become easier. So this SQL and MS Excel, whatever we practiced, they are the outdated ones. Of course, I'm agreeing. They are the outdated ones, because without the knowledge of outdated stuff, how you will gain the knowledge of the trending stuff, isn't it? So at this stage, because tomorrow you're not going for any job interview, of course, we have some semesters in between to come. So when we have this much of time, why can't we learn the basics over here? So that's our motto right now. Okay, we are doing that thing right now. Hopefully you understood the importance of these courses, and you do the practice, and you do get involved yourself in these particular training programs. Okay, so quickly go and see what other things we have after this count. Counting a particular column, counting with star, and counting distinct column name, distinct records, all these things we have seen. Okay, so then we have SQL select as command. So this as command, it is a powerful tool, we can say. It is a way of presenting the data to somebody else. So if you have a database, in that database all your columns will be like how you insist. Like ename I have taken, because it is understandable to me. Ename means employee name. But if a third party will see that ename, what he will understand? E can be anything over there, isn't it? Like esal, eid I have written. So all those things we have permanently stored in the database for our easiness. When we are framing the queries, instead of writing the complete thing like employee name, it is a tedious thing, isn't it? It is a difficult thing when we are framing the query. So to make our queries easier, what we have done, instead of taking the employee name complete, we have taken ename over there as column name, isn't it? So this as command, it is a powerful thing. What it will do means, it will allow us to temporarily change the name of our column. It will allow us to temporarily change the column name. So SQL as is used to assign temporarily a new name to the table column. Okay, instead of ename, when you are displaying the content, instead of ename you can put employee name over there. Okay, it makes easy presentation of our query results. Okay, it makes the presentation easy, we can say. Whatever query result you want to show to the other persons, you can put this what we call a different name over there, or a more suitable name, or a more understandable name to your column. Okay, how we can do that one? The syntax, if you see, it is very easy. Okay, the syntax, if you see, select, first of all you put the old name, in between then you put the new name, and in between the old name and the new name you put as. Okay, so over here select old column name as new column name, and like that you can select multiple columns as well. Like that, by changing the name temporarily, you can select multiple columns as well. So here select old column name as new column name, and simply when you are doing multiple columns thing, simply put the comma separator in between, as we used to do. Okay, whenever we are selecting multiple columns, simply we have to separate that multiple columns with comma separator, that we know. It is the rule in your SQL language. Columns, they must be separated with comma separator. So the same thing we do over here also. So select old column name as new column name, comma, another column, old column name as new column name, from table name, and you can even employ the where clause as well over here, because it is a select query, so you can easily apply the where condition. Okay, so now what I will do, I will select the salary and the name. I will select the salary and name from the employee table, okay, where employee name is John. Okay, where the employee name is John. And how I want to display the content means, instead of, because employee name we have like ename, employee salary we have like esal. So if you print that one, what will happen, esal and ename, it will give that same name over there, ename and esalary. That I don't want. As column titles, as column titles it will give that ename esal. That I don't want. I want a different name over there. So quickly, first I will write the basic query, then after I will modify that query. You'll simply see that one. So what we said, select, I want to select the ename and e-salary, and what else we are selecting, ename only, isn't it? I want to select ename e-salary where ename is John. Okay, so select ename comma esal from employee where esal no ename equals to John. So like this we are writing a query. So what this query will do, this query will select these two columns, ename and esalary, where employee name is John from the table employee. So when you hit the enter key, see over here, ename, because we selected, we asked the query to retrieve the employees whose name is John. Okay, so it retrieved, and along with that we are wanting salary also, we want salary also. So the same thing it has displayed, but the names over here you can see, you can't give this ename e-salary to your manager, he will not understand that one. So what I have to give over here, I have to give a proper, a more meaningful name over here, a more understandable name over here. So how I can do that, as using that as command. So select, first I have to give the old column name, that is ename, as employee name, employee underscore name, like this I give. So because I'm going to retrieve another column, so what I have to do, between these two columns I have to put the comma separator. So that I am doing now. Then esal, old name, as employee underscore salary, like this. Okay, so two column names I have renamed, using as I have renamed, temporarily I have renamed. Then from emp where ename equals to John. See how beautiful this query is. Okay, in this way you can frame the queries very easily. Once you understand the concept, the framing queries in SQL, it is very easy. So now when you hit the enter key, see what output you will get. Hit the enter key, see. Previously it gave me ename esalary, but now it is giving employee name, employee salary, so that a person can easily understand that, okay, so John is the employee name and this particular column is listing his salary over here, like this. Very easy. Okay, so do another example. So now I want employee ID, column name need to be renamed as EID. Okay, and whatever change you have done over here, it is temporary. Again you go and see, select star from employee. Here name is not changed, it is as it is, ename esalary. In the database nothing will change, only in the presentation it will change. Only in the presentation the column name will be changed. In the database the names will be same. So now what I said, I want EID, employee ID, employee name, employee salary, all these things I want, and where the employee salary is more than, let us say 40,000, more than 40,000. Where employee salary is more than 40,000. I want employee ID, employee name, employee salary with proper labels, with proper column labels, meaningful column labels, and and I want to retrieve only the records where employee salary is greater than 40,000. So how I can? So first you frame the simple query like select, I said to retrieve EID, ename, comma esal. These three things I want to retrieve from employee table where salary is greater than 40,000. Like this I said. Isn't it? Like this I said. So this query, what it will do, it will retrieve the same records, but the column labels we have not changed. But the column labels we have not changed. So when you hit the enter, see, it will give the same. Where the employee salary is more than 40,000, it is listing only those employee records over here. Okay, it is listing only those employee records over here. But the column labels, when you are seeing, it is like the old names only. Okay, a meaningless names, we can say. So now what I want the meaningful labels. So simply same query, but with as command you have to reframe it. Same query, but with as command you have to reframe it. So how come? Select old column name EID as employee underscore ID. Okay, again one more column, so use the comma separator. Then old column name e name, new column name between as. Okay, employee underscore name. Okay, then the third one, again I have to separate with a comma separator, esal as employee underscore salary from EMP, where ESAL is greater than 40,000. Okay, so like this, see how interesting this query is. Select EID as employee ID, ENAME as employee name, eSalary as employee salary from employee table where eSalary is greater than 40,000, the condition. Inside where class we kept the condition. See the meaning, complete meaning, what that query will do, the complete meaning, when you read the query, there only you will get. There only you will get. Now hit the enter key and see the response from the database. It has renamed the old column names like employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and it is giving the data wonderfully over here. Okay, with some nice formatting, you presentation, it is giving to the end user so that he can understand very easily. Hopefully you got this one. Okay, so this is how the as command, just to rename the columns temporarily, we are using this as. For the presentation purpose, we are using this as command. This is also we are using along with the select command only. And today whatever keywords we are going to discuss, whatever special commands we are going to discuss, all are inside select query only we are doing, nothing else. Okay, so the next thing, the sum command. So from now on we practice all the mathematical functions, all the mathematical functions. So this sum command, what it will do, it will simply sum, it will simply add all numerical values present inside a particular column. Present inside a particular column, it will simply add. Only numerical values you can add. Okay, we also see what happens when we add the string values. That also we will see. Okay, so what I said, all the fields you have, it is something like finding the sum of complete column inside your MS Excel. You can drag and you can find the sum, okay, by simply keeping the range over there. In that way you can do in your MS Excel. Over here we have the sum function. We have the sum function. Using the sum function we can calculate the sum of a particular column. So quickly go and see. First we see over here, we read all the things. Okay, syntax and example also we will read, and then we will practice. So this select sum command, it is also known as SQL sum function. Okay, it is used in a SQL query to return summed value of a column. It will sum the complete values, complete numerical values, and it will give the final result as a single value. Okay, it will simply sum all the input values and it will give a single value as the final sum. Okay, so how we can, a particular column you have to specify over there. Select sum of that column from table name. Okay, select sum of the column from table name, and if you want to put the condition like so and so salaries only, salaries which are greater than 40,000, just now we have done, or salaries which are lesser than 20,000, if you want to add like that, you can apply the condition also over there. Or if you want to calculate the salaries of the persons whose name is John, okay, like that you can calculate. So simply go and check that one. So what query we have written? Yes, sum command. So select, first I am printing the whole table from EMP. Select star from EMP. So here we have this 10 values, isn't it? Here we have this 10 nine salary details. So suppose if I want to add these 9 salaries, I want to know the final figure, how much I will get. So how come? Select, okay, sum of column name. So yeah, first you select only the single column. Okay, single column you select ESAL. ESAL from, because I have to show from the table to a column, from that column to a single value, how we are doing step by step. So now I am retrieving that complete column. Select eSalary from employee table. Employee table. So it is giving the complete result over here. All that list over here, only salary details it is giving. Now I want to add all these salaries. So what I have to do, simply apply that sum on this ESAL. So select sum of ESAL from EMP. That's it. Simply we have applied the sum function on that ESAL. See, it will give the final figure. If you add all those things, you will get this figure over there. Okay, you will get that as the sum. So let us say if you want to put the where class also into this one. So select the salaries, select the details, salary details, where the salaries are greater than, let us say, or lesser than 40,000. Select the salary details where the salaries are less than 40,000. How can we write? Select ESAL, because we are selecting only salary details. Select ESAL from EMP, employee table. What I said, the condition, where the condition, I must select the salaries which are lesser than 40,000. So ESAL is less than 40,000. So this list will give the details, I mean, which are in the salaries which are lesser than 40,000. See over here, all these salaries are lesser than 40,000. So suppose if I want to add the sum, if you want to add only these things, so now select, simply apply the ESUM to the ESAL. Select sum function to the ESAL. ESAL, okay, from employee where ESAL is less than 40,000. That's it. So now what it will do, whatever entry, I mean records we got over here, it will simply add these records and hit the enter key. See, it is showing 1,50,000 like this. It is showing 1,50,000, a perfect figure it is showing over here. Hopefully you understood. Simply whenever you are applying sum, or whenever you are applying some command inside as part of your SQL select command, first you try to frame the SQL command without that command, and after that simply add that one. It will become very easy for you to frame the command, frame the query. Okay, and very easy for understanding as well, we can say. So these sort of things, I mean, the advanced, many people are asking, I mean, not first years, but second years and third years, they are asking, sir, we have a lot of content on the internet, lot of what we call study material on the internet. So we can learn that one also. What is the advantage, or what is the benefit we will get if we attend your videos? Like that they are asking. See, these kind of tactics you will not understand if you simply read the content on the internet. And moreover, watching something and doing hands-on, it is way better than, it is a study, I mean, they have done the study, it is way better than reading number of articles, reading number of books. It is way easier to learn, we can say. Doing hands-on, it is way easier to learn. That is the reason why many multinational companies, what they will do means, instead of giving the content, instead of giving the material to their employees, they will conduct hands-on sessions. What they will do, they will conduct hands-on session. The advantage of attending an hands-on session is there is no need to do anything. Simply from the hands-on, you can directly go to the working environment. You don't need to go for any testing, or you don't need to go for any kind of assessment, because once you are good in hands-on, directly you can go for implementation. Okay, so that kind of advantage we are having. See, reading the books, mugging up the stuff, and doing, I mean, writing in a paper and getting the certification, or completing some sort of assessment, getting some good grade in that assessment, that's not the motto over here. Hands-on means you will get the training. Basically, how to use a particular command, how to use a particular tool, you will understand. See, using a hammer, It is very easy. By seeing also we can understand how to use the hammer. But when you will become an expert in using that hammer, using the tool, when you practically use it, isn't it? By using that hammer only, by practically using that hammer only, you will understand how to use that hammer. So that is the advantage of doing hands-on session. And whatever sessions we are doing over here, all sessions are hands-on only. You can directly open my video, put a laptop aside and do the practice. Whatever commands I'm typing, whatever clarity I'm giving, simply try to feed that clarity into your brains and do the hands-on right away so that you will understand everything. Okay, so this is something, some command. We have got enough knowledge on this some command. Then we have the finding the distinct entries sum, finding the distinct entries sum. So here in my ESAL, all are like what we call distinct only. E-salary details all are like distinct only. So it is yeah, to have some redundancy, what I will do first, you check how many redundant value. I mean, do we have any redundant entries inside the salary column? So select star from EMP where ESAL. Select star from EMP. No where EMP. So what I am getting? See here, nothing redundant, isn't it? Nothing redundant. So what I will do, I will insert another record with some, another two records with some redundancy. So insert, what is our command to insert the entries? Insert into table name. Insert into table name, that is employee values, because I want to enter all the values. Values of employee ID 1011, comma employee name. Again, I will make the redundancy because we have less redundant values. So Michael, we have to give between single quotations. Michael, Michel, Michael, comma, then employee salary, I will do the repetition. 60,000 I am keeping a redundant value. Then uh, yes, we have to enter the address as well as door number, street also. Otherwise it won't accept. So what I do, I will go over here, employee of fields I will put, because I'm adding only EID, comma ENAME, comma ESalary. Only these things I'm adding. Go to end and close this and put the semicolon. Hit the enter key. One row created. Okay, it has created that one. Create another row. Create another row. Just yeah, over here in place of 1011, type 1012, and person name, instead of Michael, let us say I will make another entry for John only. Okay, 3-time repetition. So here the salary detail I am keeping like 42,000. Salary also redundant, 42,000. 42,000, okay, 42,000. Hit the enter key. Another row got created. Now commit, because I don't want to remove this. Commit complete. So select star from EMP. See here, we got these many entries where my salary is repeated. This 42,000 got repeated and 60,000 is also got repeated. So now if I want to add all the salary details distinctly, I just want to remove the repeated salaries. If 60,000 got repeated twice, means simply remove 160,000. If 42,000 got repeated, means simply remove 142,000, like that. Whatever values it got repeated, whatever value it got repeated, I don't want to count in the sum. I don't want to count in the sum. I don't want to add that thing into sum. If something is repeated, I just want to add only once. Okay. So how can I get that one? So first you select the salary details. Okay. Select ESAL from EMP. So this will print all the salary details. See, it is printing all the salary details only. Salaries only it is printing. Salary column only it is printing. Now select the distinct. Okay, distinct thing. Okay, so how we can select distinct. Okay, distinct ESAL. Sorry, ESAL from EMP. Select distinct ESAL from EMP. It is selecting distinctly. So previously it selected 12 rows, but now it is selected 10 rows. That means all distinct entries it is selecting. All distinct entries it is selecting. Now count the sum, calculate the sum. How come? Select, apply that sum to that distinct, see, distinct eSal from EMP, like this. Okay, like this. Hit the enter key. See, it is adding all that. It is adding all that. Now you frame another query. Try to add the where class as well over here. Suppose I have two things, isn't it? 42,000 one repetition I have, 60,000 another repetition I have. So what I do, see, I don't want I want to select the distinct values which are more than 50,000. I want to select distinct e-salary details which are more than 50,000. Below 50,000, whatever values repetitions I have, I don't want that one. Even not, neither I want the values nor I want the repetitions. But more than 50,000, whatever values I have, salary details I have, those details distinctly I want. I don't want the repetition. So how we can frame that query? Select, okay. First you try to print the details, then calculate the sum. Okay, select a distinct eSal from employee where class, where eSalary is greater than 50,000. eSalary is greater than 50,000. Okay, now you hit the enter key. See, we have only 52,000 and 60,000. Only two we have. So now add these two. Add these two. How come? Select distinct, sorry, sum of distinct eSal from EMP where eSal must be greater than 50,000. So like this. Hit the enter key. It will add those two. It will add those two. Okay. So like this you can frame any number of queries. So just random queries I am framing over here. Nothing from the slides or nothing from any source. Some random queries. Just I am getting the idea, I am framing the query and I am getting the result over there. In that way only you do. Okay, step by step you have to learn. Okay, hopefully you understood. Just go here, see the same thing where salary is to greater than 20,000 and distinct eSal we have selected. Okay, uh, yeah, see, if you want that thing, I mean this eSalary it is giving over here, right? eSalary it is giving over there. So suppose yeah, that thing it will not print, right? Here eSalary, distinct salary it is saying, distinct eSal it is saying. We don't want that eSal over here. Employee salary I want over there. Full meaningful name. So that purpose, select distinct eSal as employee underscore salary. Any proper name, meaningful name I am giving to that eSal. In this query only I am giving proper name, but without sum first we will do that one, and after getting the perfect result we'll apply the sum. Okay, eSalary from employee. Okay, from employee where eSalary is greater than 50,000. So like this. Put the semicolon at the end and hit the enter key. See, now we got employee salary. Likewise we got. Now you calculate the sum. Okay, select distinct, not distinct, first sum. Select sum of distinct eSal as employee underscore salary from employee table where eSal greater than 50,000. Okay, hope you understood. See, the complexity slowly how I'm increasing. The reason, the intention, it is very simple. I want you people to learn all these things. Step by step, I want you people to learn all these things. First, we have selected only the e-salary. Then we have calculated sum. Then we have calculated distinct sum. Okay. So likewise, step by step, I have improved my output. Okay. So now hit the enter key. What it will do? It will give a proper name when it is calculating the sum. Okay. Hit the enter key. See here, employee salary and total sum it is printing. So for this entire thing, it is giving this name, employee salary, like that. So if you give this as employee salary, within this, you will get the same output. See that one. Another command I'm writing, how it will differ. Select sum. I mean, we will see whether we will get the result or any error. Okay, select sum of distinct ESAL as employee underscore salary from EMP. Yeah, here we have to close this one. Close this one from EMP where is salary greater than 50,000. Same command I have written, but just previously I closed this entire thing, I replaced with employee salary. But now what I have done, only ESAL I am replacing with employee salary. Hit the enter key. Okay, it is giving error. So we can't use this as within some command. We can't use this as within some command, like that you remember. This as, because it is giving a star over here, as you can see. Error at line 1, where error? This star. So you, by seeing this star, that you have to remember that this as, it can't be used as a sum. Okay, internal to this sum function you can't use this as. So that is the error you are getting. So you can give only one argument. You can't give like this many things inside this sum function. So doing like that is an error. So we have to satisfy with this type of output only. Okay, we have to satisfy with this type of, and it is giving a full name. Okay, whatever we are doing, whatever we tried to do, it was a weird thing. It was a weird thing, but proper output we got here itself. So we have to get satisfied with this output itself, with this output itself. See, this query, it is having a lot of meaning you have in this particular query. Okay, so simply go and see what else we have. After this distinct sum and normal sum, we have the average. Okay, calculating the average, same thing. Okay, from here on, I mean, only 1, 2, 3 queries, I guess. Select maximum, minimum, that's it. So these 3 queries I will type. So what it will do, average command, select average command, SQL select average command. So it is also known as SQL average function. Okay, it is used to calculate the average of a given column. So if you have given numerical value, first let us see if we apply this sum on a varchar, that is nothing but on a string, what will happen. So select a star from EMP table. So what field I have as a sum, as a string? This ename I have as a what we call string, isn't it? This ename I have a varchar, a string. If I apply sum on this ename, what will happen? Select ename from employee. It will list all the employee names. Now select sum of ename from employee. So now what will happen? What it will give the result? See, it is giving error. Invalid number it is saying. So inside this sum function, average function, minimum function, maximum function, you can use only the numerical columns. You cannot use varchar, because see, when you are seeing description about the employee, see this EID, it is number, salary, it is number, address, here we have taken number because later we modified this one, it is number. But this varchar, door number, street and ename, you can't take them into the sum function. Okay, if you take them into the sum function, you will get this type of error. This ename, it is not a number, it is an invalid number. Like that you will get the error. So now go to the average command, and this average command, we also call it as an average function, is used to calculate the average of a given column. So how we can write the function query? Select average of column name from table name. You can even put the condition also. You can even put the condition also, like e-salary average I am calculating over here. So select average of e-salary from employee table where employee name is John. Okay, so like that you can frame. So select ESAL from employee. It will give the all salary details. Now calculate the average. So select uh, uh, average of ESAL from employee. So 4100 average it is giving. Average means sum of the entries divided by number of the entries. So that we are getting 41,000 we are getting as the average salary. Then the next thing what I have to do, yes, let us say I want to add where class also. I want to calculate the average salary, average salaries of all the salaries which are more than 40,000. Okay, so select, okay, select AVG of ESAL from EMP where ESAL is greater than 40,000, I said. So like this. So it will give the average. See, it is going into precisions as well, decimal points as well. Okay, fraction points as well. So select average e-salary from employee where e-salary is greater than 40,000. Like this you can frame the query. Okay, now if I want to, yeah, here average e-sal we are getting, it is not a meaningful name. So you give a meaningful name over here. Average employee salary, like that you give a meaningful name over here. How come? Select average e-sal as AVERAGE, average underscore you put underscore employee underscore salary. Okay, average employee salary from employee where is salary greater than 40,000. See, hit the enter key. See, we are getting the perfect name over here. Average employees, a meaningful name, meaningful title, meaningful label over here. Average employee salary, like this we are getting. The same we are getting but with a meaningful label. So like this. Okay, this is what we do with the average command. Next we have finding the maximum. Okay, whatever entries you have, in those entries just to find the maximum. Okay, whatever records are satisfying your query, among those records finding the maximum value, we use this maximum command. Again, this maximum is a function. Max is a function. It is used to return the maximum value of a given column. Okay, and that column, it needs to be a numerical value. When you are finding the maximum, it needs to be a numerical value. Again, finding the maximum salary, I mean the greatest salary among all the salaries. How come? Select star from not star, select, yes, star only you write. Select star from EMP, hit the enter key. It is listing all the table. Okay, complete table it is listing. Now select only salary. Select ESAL from EMP. It is listing only the salaries of all the employees. Okay, now from these, which is the greatest? How we can? Select max of ESAL. Max of ESAL from employee. Okay, it is 60,000. So let us say below 60,000, which one is greatest? Okay, 60,000 I guess. Okay, not okay, below 60,000 which one is greatest, or below 40,000 which one is greatest? Below 40,000 which one is greatest you have? How come? Below 40,000 means you have to add the where class. Select max of ESAL from employee where ESAL is below, we said na, so less than 40,000 we said, like this. So select max of ESAL from employee where ESAL is less than 40,000. Hit the enter key. So 39,000 below 40,000, which one is greatest? 39,000 as the highest paid salary we have below 40,000. Okay, so now give us suitable name. Max ESAL it is giving, so maximum employee salary, like that you give the name. So select max of ESAL as maximum underscore employee underscore salary from employee table where E salary is greater than, employee salary is lesser than 40,000. Put the semicolon, hit the enter key. See, now we got the proper label over here. Maximum employee salary, like this. So why we use this max command? Just to get the maximum. Whatever entries are satisfying my where class, or whatever records are coming as an output of my query, it will just select the maximum record from that. It will simply ignore the rest of the records and it will select just the maximum record. We have another one, finding the minimum. Select minimum command. Finding the minimum, it is also known as SQL minimum function. It is used in a SQL query to return the minimum value of that particular column. To return the minimum value of that particular column, we use this minimum function. Again, this minimum you can frame in different ways. Just minimum, with where class, with as well. Okay, all these things we will see. First, you try to retrieve e-salary from employee table. So it is listing all e-salary. So which one is minimum value we have? Find out minimum. Select minimum of e-salary from EMP, employee table. So 18,000 is the minimum. 18,000 is the minimum. So which one is minimum? Above, let us say 40,000. Above 40,000, which one is minimum? So select minimum of e-salary from MP where is salary greater than 40,000. Above 40,000, which one is minimum? Above 40,000, 42,000 is minimum. Okay. Above 40,000, which one is maximum means 60,000 you will get. The utmost value you will get. But above 40,000, which one is minimum in the sense 42,000 you will get. So here change the name. Minimum employee salary. Likewise, change the name. How come? Select minimum of ESAL as minimum employee salary. Minimum employee salary uh, from employee where ESAL must be greater than 40,000. That's it. Hit the enter key. So this name you will get a proper label. Hit the enter. See, we got minimum employee salary 42,000. Okay, like this. Like this you can frame any of the queries of your wish. Just practice the queries one by one. We can do a lot of wonders in the near future. Believe me. Okay, this what we are doing, it is just the inception, just the beginning. The data manipulation techniques what we are going to practice in the near future, you might have not even thought about it, hopefully. Okay, so as I said, it is a trending technology, and very soon after this SQL we do NoSQL, NoSQL with MongoDB, and immediately after that one, and by the end of your third semester you should be ready with your tablet, so that we can do other stuff like Hadoop, Hive, Pick, all these things we should do. See, this Hadoop, Hive, and Pick and other MapReduce, all these things, they are the very nearest technologies, or we can say a part of your big data analytics. Part of your big data analytics. And when you go for advanced projects like OpenCV, like framing the neural networks, doing artificial intelligence, these kind of things will help you a lot. Believe me, students, don't waste your time. Okay, see, many students, they are not showing the interest, and I want only the people who are having the interest. So that is the reason why I'm adding inside your attendance form, I'm adding an extra column, the mobile number, so that I can interact with you. The way you are completing the assignment and the way you're doing the assessment, based on that I want to interact with you people, so that I can give you the Oracle certification. So this certification we can't do because we have a limitation over there. So you need to be very much you need to show. I mean, this particular thing we decided to do on what we call slot basis. In the first slot, it will be like first come first serve manner. The people who are interested, the students who are showing the interest, utmost interest, will give the first entry to them. Okay, only they can enter, and only they can practice the stuff over there, and they can only get the certification. And others, if you show the interest, we are giving on slot basis, as I said. So in the second slot you will get the admission, and this is nowhere we are going to charge you anything, even a single penny. This certification program, training, everything you will get free of cost. The completely management is bearing all these things for you people. So it is a never come back opportunity, I can say, for you people. So if you lost it, means you lost everything. So just don't lose it. Try to show some effort so that you will get a part of this club, a BDA club, Big Data Analytics Club. Hopefully you understand the severity, the seriousness of this particular sessions, and you try to practice the stuff and show some interest, and whatever I mean, very soon I'm planning some projects in this one, so you need to be a part of these projects as well. That is also comes under the assessment. How I have given the final assessment in your Microsoft Excel, those students, I mean, those who have um, done some good projects in MS Excel, I have already listed them on my blog, and I have circulated among college groups as well. So that kind of advertisement, that kind of popularity you will get. Okay, thank you very much, students.